Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please subscribe and like the video. If you have any suggestions or topics you'd like me to make a video on, feel free to comment below. I hope these videos are helping you. Let's get started. Patience is not passive. It is not weakness. It is not standing aside because you are afraid. Patience in trading is controlled aggression. It is the discipline to wait for the market to reveal its hand before you place your bet. Most men lose not because they cannot read a chart, but because they cannot sit still. They feel compelled to act. They believe activity equals progress. In the market, that belief is expensive. The tape does not reward excitement. It rewards timing. There are days when the best position is no position at all. The amateur cannot accept this. He wakes up needing action. He stares at every tick, convincing himself that movement means opportunity. He buys too early, sells too late, and calls it bad luck. It is not bad luck. It is impatience disguised as confidence. The seasoned operator understands that big money is made in the waiting. He studies the general conditions. He watches how a stock behaves at key levels. He notes whether it advances on strong volume or retreats on weakness. He waits for confirmation, not because he is uncertain, but because he respects the cost of being wrong. Markets move in waves. There are periods of accumulation, periods of markup, distribution, and decline. If you cannot wait for the proper phase, you will always find yourself fighting the tide, and no man grows rich swimming against a powerful current for long. Patience allows clarity. When you are not desperate to trade, you see more. You notice when a breakout lacks conviction. You recognize when a rally is merely short covering. You avoid the noise that traps the restless crowd. You begin to understand that not every fluctuation deserves your capital. Capital is ammunition. You do not fire bullets into the air simply because you are holding a rifle. A trader on the path to profitability no longer measures his worth by daily action. He measures it by quality of execution. He can watch a market all morning and do nothing, and feel no anxiety about it. That calm is strength. It means he is no longer trading to satisfy emotion. He is trading to exploit opportunity. Patience also protects you from yourself. After a loss, the urge to recover quickly can be overwhelming. The impatient trader jumps back in, determined to win it back. The patient trader steps aside. He reviews. He waits for the next proper setup. He understands that the market will provide endless chances, but only to those who remain solvent and composed. Fortunes are not built on constant motion. They are built on sitting tight when the position is right and standing aside when it is not. The ability to do nothing when nothing should be done is a rare skill, yet it is one of the most profitable. If you are learning to wait, to strike only when the odds are in your favor, to let the market prove itself before you commit, then you are developing the one quality that separates survivors from casualties. Patience is not just a virtue in trading. It is an edge. Risk control is survival. Without it, nothing else matters. You may have the keenest eye for patterns, the sharpest instincts for direction, but if you do not know how to protect your capital, the market will eventually separate you from it, and it will do so without emotion. The first lesson a trader must learn is that he will be wrong. Not occasionally, regularly. The market does not exist to validate your opinion. It exists to test it. If you enter every trade believing you must be right, you are already in danger. The professional enters knowing he could be wrong and plans accordingly. Before a single dollar is committed, the prudent operator asks one question: how much am I willing to lose if this judgment is incorrect? That figure is decided in advance. It is not adjusted out of hope. It is not widened because of pride. It is respected. Hope is not a strategy. Neither is stubbornness. Small losses are the cost of doing business. Large losses are the result of neglect. The difference between the struggling trader and the profitable one is not that the latter avoids losses altogether. It is that he keeps them small. He understands that a modest loss can be recovered. A catastrophic one changes the game entirely. When risk is controlled, the mind remains clear. You are not paralyzed by fear because you know the damage is limited. You are not tempted to interfere with a sound position because your account is not under siege. Control of risk creates emotional stability, and emotional stability supports sound judgment. Many traders focus on how much they can make. Few focus on how much they can lose. Yet the market punishes carelessness far more swiftly than it rewards brilliance. A trader who risks too much on a single idea may be correct 9 times out of 10, but the one time he is wrong, he gives back everything and more. Capital is your lifeblood. Each position should represent a calculated exposure, not a reckless wager. When you size positions properly, you give yourself room to endure the inevitable setbacks. You remain in the game long enough for your edge to assert itself over time. There is strength in restraint. You do not need to press every advantage to the limit. You do not need to double down to prove conviction. The market respects those who respect risk. It destroys those who ignore it. On the path to profitable trading, you begin to think defensively first. You protect before you pursue. You accept that preservation precedes accumulation. You realize that staying solvent is more important than being spectacular. A trader who masters risk control may not appear bold. He may not boast of dramatic wins, but he compounds steadily, avoids the devastating drawdowns that cripple confidence and capital alike. He lives to trade another day, and another, and another. In the end, survival is the foundation of success. If you cannot protect what you have, you will never grow it. Risk control is not merely a technique, it is the law of longevity in the market. Discipline is freedom. That sounds like a contradiction to the undisciplined mind. Most men believe freedom means doing as they please, entering when they feel bold, exiting when they feel afraid, doubling down when they feel certain. But in the market, that kind of freedom is a fast road to ruin. True freedom comes from structure. It comes from rules that you obey without hesitation. The market is a place of endless temptation. There is always another stock moving, another headline flashing, another ruse, more circulating. If you allow yourself to react to every impulse, you will spend your days chasing shadows. The disciplined trader does not chase. He prepares. He defines his method in advance. He knows what conditions must be present before he acts. If those conditions are not there, he does nothing. That nothing is not weakness. It is control. A man without rules is a servant to his emotions. One losing trade and he hesitates on the next signal. One winning streak and he becomes careless. His results swing not because the market changes, but because his behavior does. Discipline removes that instability. It demands consistency. You take the signal when it appears. You exit when your plan says exit. You do not argue with your own system in the heat of the moment. The crowd trades on feeling. The professional trades on decision. There will be moments when the market tests your resolve. A position approaches your stop and hovers there. The temptation is strong to move it just a little to give the trade room. That small act of indiscipline can become a habit, and habits, once formed, shape outcomes. The disciplined trader accepts the loss as defined. He does not negotiate with it. He understands that one act of disobedience can undo weeks of careful progress. Discipline also means pressing when the time is right. It is not only about cutting losses, it is about following through on strength. When conditions align and your position proves correct, discipline keeps you from taking profits too early out of fear. It allows you to sit tight while the market rewards your patience. Without discipline, even a good entry becomes an average result. Freedom in trading is not the B sense of structure. It is the confidence that comes from knowing you will act according to plan, regardless of emotion. When you no longer debate every decision internally, when you no longer second-guess every move, you conserve mental energy. That clarity allows you to see the market as it is, not as you hope it to be. If you are developing the ability to follow your rules without exception, to treat your trading plan as binding rather than optional, then you are advancing. You are stepping out of the chaos that traps most participants. You are building a foundation that does not crack under pressure. In the end, discipline liberates you from the worst enemy a trader has, himself. Quality over quantity is a lesson the market teaches harshly. The inexperienced trader believes that more trades mean more opportunity. He measures productivity by the number of positions he opens, the number of alerts he answers, the number of times he feels involved. But involvement is not profit. Activity is not accuracy. The market does not pay you for effort. It pays you for being right at the right time, There are stretches when conditions are unclear, when price drifts without conviction, when breakouts fail, when trends reverse without warning. During such periods, frequent trading is not courage, it is compulsion. The trader who insists on action during uncertainty becomes a source of liquidity for those who are waiting. The seasoned operator understands that not every day is a day to strike. He studies the broader trend. He watches for alignment, price, structure, volume, behavior, general market tone. When these factors converge, he acts decisively. When they do not, he conserves his cap. Ital and his energy. Fewer trades mean fewer mistakes. Every position carries risk no matter how promising it appears. By limiting participation to only the most favorable setups, you reduce exposure to randomness. You place your capital where the odds are tilted, not where excitement is highest. It takes confidence to trade less. The crowd will boast about constant gains, about catching every small fluctuation. But small fluctuations are often noise. They exhaust the trader and inflate transaction costs. The larger, cleaner moves, the ones that define months, sometimes years, are what build fortunes. Those moves require patience to identify and conviction to hold. A trader on the path to profitability begins to filter ruthlessly. He asks himself, does this truly meet my criteria? Is the market environment supportive? Am I trading from clarity or from boredom? These questions prevent careless entries. They protect him from scattering his focus across mediocre ideas. When you trade less but better, your confidence grows. You are no longer reacting to every tick. You are selecting moments with intention. Each trade becomes a deliberate decision, not a reflex. That deliberation improves execution. It sharpens analysis. It strengthens emotional control. There is also power in preserving mental capital. Every trade demands attention. Every open position consumes psychological space. By limiting yourself to high-quality opportunities, you maintain clarity. You avoid the fatigue that leads to errors. You remain sharp for the moments that truly matter. The great operators were never known for constant motion. They were known for waiting, then acting with size and conviction when conditions justified it. They understood that one exceptional trade can outweigh a dozen mediocre ones. If you find yourself becoming more selective, more deliberate, less impressed by minor movement and more focused on meaningful trends, then you are progressing. You are shifting from impulse to intention. In trading, restraint is not limitation, it is refinement, and refinement is what turns participation into profit. Emotional control is the silent force behind every lasting trading success. The market is designed to provoke you. It tempts you at the top and terrifies you at the bottom. It whispers that you are a genius during winning streaks and declares you a fool during drawdowns. If you listen too closely, you will swing with it. Confident one week, defeated the next. The untrained trader reacts. The composed trader responds. Fear and greed are not abstract concepts. They are physical sensations. A racing pulse as price approaches your stop. A surge of excitement as profits expand. The problem is not that these emotions exist. The problem is allowing them to dictate action. When emotion takes command, logic retreats. A trader on the path to profitability begins to notice his internal state as carefully as he studies the chart. He recognizes when he is trading to recover pride rather than capital. He senses when a winning streak tempts him to increase size beyond reason. Awareness becomes his shield. After a loss, the urge to win it back immediately can be powerful. The market feels like an opponent who must be defeated. But the market is indifferent. It does not know you are there. Revenge trading is simply emotional indulgence dressed as strategy. The disciplined min-D steps back. It accepts the loss as part of the business and waits for the next legitimate opportunity. Likewise, after a series of gains, overconfidence creeps in quietly. You begin to believe you see what others cannot. You loosen standards. You enter trades that are almost right. That subtle shift often marks the beginning of decline. Emotional control means treating success with the same caution as failure. Consistency in trading is not built on constant winning. It is built on stable behavior. If your process remains steady regardless of outcome, your results will stabilize over time. Emotional extremes create erratic decisions, and erratic decisions produce erratic equity curves. Calmness allows objectivity. When you are not gripped by fear, you can cut losses quickly. When you are not consumed by greed, you can let profits develop without interference. Balance replaces impulse. Judgment replaces reaction. The market will always test your composure. Sudden reversals, unexpected news, rapid volatility. These are inevitable. What matters is not the event itself, but your response to it. The trader who maintains internal equilibrium during chaos gains an advantage that no indicator can provide. Emotional control does not mean indifference. It means measured engagement. You care about execution, not ego. You care about discipline, not drama. You understand that your greatest edge is not secret information or complex analysis, but mastery over your own behavior. If you are learning to remain steady in both victory and defeat, if you can execute your plan without being pulled by every emotional current, then you are advancing. The market rewards those who can remain composed when others cannot. In trading, the mind is both weapon and weakness. Control it, and you control your destiny in the game. Focus on execution, not on money. The money is a byproduct. It always has been. Yet most traders sit at their screens thinking in dollars. Every tick is translated into profit or loss. Every fluctuation feels personal. When you trade that way, you stop seeing the market clearly. You begin seeing only your account balance. The professional thinks differently. He thinks in terms of process. Was the entry correct according to plan? Was the risk defined properly? Was the exit executed without hesitation? These questions matter more than the immediate outcome. A well-executed trade that results in a small loss is progress. A poorly executed trade that produces a gain is a setback in disguise. The market is probabilistic. No single trade proves brilliance or incompetence. What matters is the consistency of decisions over a long series of operations. If your method has an edge, it will reveal itself through repetition, but repetition requires discipline in execution. Many traders sabotage themselves by focusing on what they could have made. They exit early and watch the stock run further. They hesitate on an entry and see the move unfold without them. Regret becomes their companion. Regret leads to impulsive adjustments. Impulsive adjustments break systems. Execution demands presence. When the signal appears, you act, not because you feel bold, but because it meets your criteria. When your stop is triggered, you exit, not because you enjoy taking losses, but because that is the agreement you made with yourself before entering. There is power in honoring that agreement, counting money during the trade cloud's judgment. If you are up substantially, you may close too soon out of fear of losing it. If you are down, you may widen risk out of desperation. By shifting attention to execution, you detach from the emotional weight of fluctuating profits. Think of yourself as an operator running a business. Each trade is a transaction within a structured system. Your job is to follow the system faithfully. The profit and loss statement will reflect the quality of your operations over time. It is not influenced by hope. It is shaped by behavior. On the path to profitability, you begin reviewing trades not by outcome, but by adherence. Did you break your rules? Did you anticipate instead of waiting for confirmation? Did you size correctly? This kind of self-examination builds competence. It transforms trading from gambling into structured speculation. Money earned through poor execution breeds bad habits. Money earned through disciplined execution reinforces strength. The distinction is subtle but decisive. One builds ego, the other builds skill. If you find yourself caring more about doing things right than about how you made today, you are evolving. If you can accept a loss with satisfaction because you executed flawlessly, you are maturing as a trader. In the end, wealth in the market is not chased. It is accumulated through precise, repeated action. Master the execution, and the money will follow as a natural consequence.